If your arm keeps going numb out of nowhere with no injuries, no disc issues, and no obvious cause, then here's what's most likely happening. See, there are two muscles most people never even work on that sit near the upper portion of the chest, and when they get tight, they can actually compress on the nerves and blood vessels, which is how you get that nervy pain or similar issues. That's where your numbness and arm pain is most likely coming from, and today I'm going to be showing you how to release both of them. Hi there, my name's Adam. I'm a manual therapist and creator of the Nerve-Based Blueprint, the #1 program for thoracic outlet syndrome. Here's what's most likely going on in the body. Running between your neck and your chest and going into your shoulder and hand is a bunch of nerves and blood vessels called the brachial plexus and the subclavian vein and artery. Now, in order for your nerves and blood vessels to reach basically your neck all the way to your fingers, they have to pass through your first rib and clavicle. But when the muscles get tight around it, what ends up happening is they get sandwiched between the first rib and clavicle, resulting in that numbness, that tingling, and that pain. So the question here is, what's compressing it? Which muscles is creating that narrow space that we need to release? And the answer is the two muscles we're about to talk about. Oh, and by the way, this is just one spot you may get compression on your nerves and blood vessels. There's multiple spots in the shoulder, in the neck, in the bicep, things like that. And if you want to test those out and learn how to release the muscle accordingly, and check out my free toolkit below in the description or the pinned comment. Now, the first muscle we're going to be looking at is going to be the scalenes. These are muscles that are located on the side of the neck. You got three of them with a front, middle, and back one. And when it gets tight, thanks to overuse, it can actually contribute to that compression. But how? Well, first off, these muscles are constantly contracting. Every single time we got to rotate our head a little bit, tilt it one way or another, or even have a little bit of forehead posture because those anterior scalenes have to do a lot more work, right? They're holding the head up. Now, over time, if these muscles are not supported by other muscles around it, thanks to strength training and things like that, then these muscles get fatigued. They get things like trigger points and they end up getting stuck in this shortened and tightened position. Now, when this muscle gets shortened and tight, because it attaches to the actual spine and then the first rib, what ends up happening is it will pull that first rib up, which is how it sandwiches the nerves and blood vessels between the clavicle. Now, a bigger problem with the scalenes, though, is that they also help with chest breathing or even being stressed out. Because every time you are using your chest, your ribs have to pull that chest up, which helps with the breathing, which makes them a secondary breathing muscle, basically. So if you are constantly breathing with your chest, stressed, things like that, then those neck muscles are constantly contracting in order to help with that breathing. And even though all that compression, all those issues happening up here between the first rib and clavicle, you end up feeling it in the shoulder, in the arm, maybe all the way in the fingers. Now, there's a second muscle that can also contribute to the first rib and clavicle getting squeezed together. And that other muscle is the subclavius. And every time you bring your arms up to drive, to type, to do your daily activities, which is unavoidable, this muscle has to contract in order to allow that movement. So again, if this muscle isn't supported by everything else around it, then it will also get fatigued, get tight, and it will pull on the joint it's attached to, in this case, the clavicle and first rib. So again, you can see how it creates a similar issue here like the scalenes. Because when this muscle gets tight, it pulls those two bones together, and then you get compression on the nerves and blood vessels. So now that you know which muscles are contributing to your first rib and clavicle compression, let's actually release them. The first muscle we're releasing here is going to be the scalenes. The first thing we want to do is simply locate the muscles, and we can easily do this by first finding our sternocleidomastoid. All we need to do here is rotate our head to the opposite side, and that giant neck muscle that pops out, that's your sternocleidomastoid. What you're going to do is go over behind it, over the first road bump, and then after that first road bump, you'll land on your scalene. That first road bump is essentially the clavicle head to the SCM. So you got to go over that one in order to access the scalenes. Now, as you're working on the muscle, just start warming it up, just start rubbing it out using the fingertips and pressing in with light to medium pressure, just looking for a tender spot, but also just trying to push the tissues around a little bit. Do this for 30 seconds with the intentions of just trying to move the blood flow around, but also keep that tender spot in mind so we can work on it for the next few techniques. Now, after this, we do some micro movements. Find that tender spot again and then just press into it with medium to strong pressure, and then just go forward and back and side to side. You're essentially just trying to rub that area out. And by doing this, we're going to be helping the tissues that were once stuck. We're helping them essentially break up. We're helping them slide on top of each other again. We're helping that trigger point loosen so that the tissue can actually lengthen and stop compressing on the nerves and blood vessels. Now, after doing micro movements for a minute, then from here we do a pin and stretch. Simply pin down that tender spot and then stretch that muscle out by simply tilting your head to the opposite side. Do this for another minute. Now, when it comes to the subclavius, in order to access this muscle, it's easiest to just basically place your arm on top of an elevated surface and then just let it rest there. Because when you do that, you're actually pulling your clavicle away from your first rib a little bit, which opens up that space and allows you to get underneath it and work on the subclavius. So to locate it, to simply go underneath the subclavius, and you're basically poking around looking for a little road bump, a little muscle that feels different than everything else, right? We have bone, we have more bone, we have muscle right here underneath that feels a little bit like a road bump. When you find it, it's probably going to be a little tender. It might even recreate your pain, and that's okay. That's a sign that we're on the right spot. So once you're on it, go and warm it up the same way we did with the scalenes. Just simply move around the tissues, go all the way around the clavicle, maybe a little lower, maybe even a little higher, with the idea, with again, the goal of trying to loosen the tissues, get blood flow going, but also focus and find that tender spot. After warming up the muscle, go ahead and do some micro movements on the subclavius. Once again, go back and forth and side to side while staying on that one muscle. And by keeping your arm forward, you'll be able to access more of the muscle because you have more of an open space versus your arm to your side. After micro movements for 60 seconds, go ahead and do a pin and stretch on that muscle, pin it down, hold it there, and then just take your shoulder and roll it forward, backwards as much as you can in order to get that clavicle to essentially move around while the muscle is being pinned down. Do this for another 60 seconds. Now from here, we can move into the next technique, which is actually stretching the scalenes. So the same way we just did a pin and stretch by tilting the head to the other side, we are going to be doing the same thing here, but we're just going to hold that stretch now for 30 to 60 seconds. Very simple, right? I don't think you need too much explanation here, so we'll move on to the next one. And now from here, we can jump into a first rib decompression technique, because now that the muscles are loosened and they're stretched out a bit, the joint the muscles are attached to will be able to move much easier. So all we got to do here essentially is take our fingers, take a small ball, whatever you want to do, place it on the inside of your clavicle, and then you're basically just push down a little bit. There will be nerves and blood vessels here, just by the way. So just be aware of where you're pressing. If you feel some zingy or zappy, right, just move over to the side and try again. But the idea here is I'm coming on about middle portion of that triangle right behind that clavicle here. And I'm just going to press down as I shrug up. By doing this, you're essentially just kind of pushing the clavicle up while your fingers are trying to hold the first rib down. And by doing this, you're just essentially kind of forcing space in between the ribs and the clavicle, which again, you're going to stop that compressing even further. So for 30 seconds to a minute, use your fingers, press into the top, and then just shrug up and down. You may want to do this a few times. You can even use a small ball with a strap and just hold it there as you do your techniques, whatever you feel is necessary. Whatever kind of first rib mobilization techniques you have learned in the past, go ahead and do that now. Now is the time to go try those different exercises that your physical therapist and other YouTubers probably have told you to go and do. Because now that the rib is loosened up, the muscles are loosened up, all those weaker muscles will have an easier chance now to contract because they're not fighting against these tight scalenes or the tight subclavius. Now, again, if you want to learn about the other different parts that can be creating compression on your nerves and blood vessels, how to actually test them out and get the actual techniques to loosen the muscles if you test positive, then go ahead and check out my free TOS toolkit. Inside that free toolkit, not only are the tests and techniques, but there's also some free training on what TOS is, how it's created, and how to fix it, plus a few more bonuses I'm not going to spoil. If you want to check it out, again, the link for that is in the description below or the pinned comment. With that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.